big crowd.
There you go. So if we go like this, okay. Now if I step in front here, like so. You see my hand? No? No? Yeah, what?
Before that, you got one bending over now. She's standing up. It's previous. There's her now.
Okay, so it's like delayed by about 15 minutes or, or 15 seconds, 15, 30 seconds.
Have you got it in there?
There it is. There's my hand. So it's about like a minute behind, I'd say.
Okay, so we've got, we just got to get over here a little bit, like we need to move it.
Yeah.
There. That'll work. Nathan, how you doing? Good, good.
Oh, there we go. So you just camera.
You said, can people hear the sound?
Yes. Nobody's replied yet. You may see there's 2 people watching now. You can see up here.
Oh, is that how you know?
Yeah.
Peter Horwood. Drives me crazy.
Well, there's 4 people watching. Oh, sorry.
So you're somewhere in there. While you're down here, I can. Lisa. Sarah Lori Moore. As I say, you just got to figure out where you're sitting. only my phone, Kane. Don't worry. Here. Sorry about that. I just never even saw it there. Is it still feeding?
Yeah, it is.
Keeps on ticking and takes a licking. We got to
Yep.
come around here to get. Maybe we. I wonder if we can stick it in here. Oh, we have to be out on an angle, don't we?
I think what we need to do is go.
Will that work? You'll only see me a few times.
Yeah, it should be okay, I think, back here. Still working all good. I think you can hear us.
2, 3, 4. No, I was gonna. Everybody there for it? 13 to 14, so there were a few people. Okay, we're sitting with we're missing 4 people here. Okay.
Welcome, everybody. Can you hear me? Forgot what I was going to say. Now I have your attention. Anyways, just a couple of housekeeping pieces before we start. For the school board trustees tonight, this is what the meeting is about. It's the school board trustees, the candidates that are running. I just want to inform them that we are on a live stream on Facebook. I hope everybody's happy with that. Get your message out there a little more. If you happen to need bathrooms, they're right behind there. Men and women. I'd like to thank the City of New West and the Queensborough Community Center for donating this room for us tonight. We were able to do that, put this on, and I'd like to thank the members of the QRA for the work they've done in putting this together, and I'd like to thank you, the audience, for coming out tonight and participating in this, because I think it's an important evening, and it's an important part of our community, the school board and the school board trustees. I made a mistake last time when I said the voting was. It's October 20th, and it's at the Queen Elizabeth Elementary School. And I spent all week learning that, because last time I told everybody it was at the other school. So that's 921 Salter. And there is cards like this on every chair that you can pick up, and that will explain all the voting and pre-voting and post-voting and whatever you have to do. Each candidate tonight will have 5 minutes to address the audience, and we have 16 candidates, but I think right now we're sitting at 14 as the other candidates come in now. So we're going to go alphabetically, but I keep telling everybody they're not sitting alphabetically. So anyways, we requested the audience, and you guys look pretty respectful tonight. You don't look like any harassers or hecklers. Afterwards, if you have a question for a specific candidate, there will be time to mix and mingle. And so you'll have a chance to, whichever candidate you want to get a hold of, and ask them the tough questions. So tonight, really what we're asking in your 5 minutes is to let us know what your relevant qualifications and experience, what skills and talents you could bring to this elected position, if elected, and why should New West Queensborough residents vote for you. That's just a general kind of a prompt for you to kind of work around there. And as I said, after the formal part, we'll have a little mix and mingle. Now, we have a couple of people. We have Betty McIntosh in the audience tonight. One of our past city councilors, and it's nice to see you out here. And then we have two mayoralty candidates that weren't here last week. One is Nikki Binns, so we'll give her a moment in time. And back on the couch there, Jim Bell. He snuck in the back door. So we're going to get on with it. Every candidate will have 5 minutes, or I like to say 300 seconds. I did put on my runners, so I run back and forth, but I don't have to go very far, and I'm not going to try the last names tonight, but I will. Anita ANSARI. She's going to go first.
Hello, members of the Queensborough community and the rest of the New Westminsterites who are here today. Thank you for inviting me here. I am Anita ANSARI with Team Cote. I'd like to start by acknowledging the Lower Fraser Coast Salish people, the Kakite Nation, and all of the Coast Salish peoples on whose traditional and unceded territories we are here today. I'd like to start with telling you why I'm here. I moved to New Westminster 12 years ago, and I made the conscious decision to grow my roots here. I have done many things in that time since to contribute to my community, and this election is another thing that I'm doing in service of that goal. I want my children and their peers to have an amazing childhood and a great education. I can't provide that as a teacher or as a principal. I'm probably not the person who can be doing those things. classrooms, but what I can do is use my professional engineering background in a way that can help build the schools that our children are going to grow up inside. I mean, my specialty is seeing how the big picture fits together and where the potholes along the way are. And what I can do is make sure that we work either around them or through them as we approach them as a board. Now let me tell you a little bit more about myself. I'm a mother of 2 children. I work for BC Hydro as a senior safety engineer. I have worked in the past as a process engineer in a design consultancy, and I've been an industrial engineer in BC's pulp and paper industry. So I'm a community activist in addition to that, as one of the admins of US Moms Group, a Facebook group of over 3,000 mothers. And I'm also the board co-chair of New Westminster's oldest nonprofit daycare society, which opened in 1971, because there's someone here who will say Queens Ave, that was 73 people. I looked. I have, in all my roles, led by listening and through collaboration. And I'm also an immigrant. I'm really lucky that my family moved here because I was fortunate enough to receive the instruction and opportunities provided to me by BC's education system. I learned from people like my English teacher who taught me to speak up for myself, from my physics and chemistry teacher who taught me, regardless of my gender, that the physical sciences were within anyone's reach, and the one math teacher who taught me to diligently work through problems on paper and in person. Now things sure have changed a lot since those days. Our schools have been hurting for support workers, infrastructure upgrades, and struggling with class sizes for a long, hard decade. Now, I don't think any one person can fix those problems, and I don't think any of the people in this room would be an expert on all the issues needed to move the school board forward. But I would like to acknowledge that a lot of the people in this room have expertise in areas that our schools need help with. My friend Dee BEATTIE is a retired educational assistant, and she understands what's required on the front line to support the different needs of children. My friend Gurveen DHALIWAL has a unique perspective. Having been born and raised in Queensborough, she knows what the educational community needs, having grown up here. My friend Mark Gifford, who is the current school board chair, and has worked really hard to restore the financial health of the school district, which used to be in the red more than 4 years ago. And my friend Maya Russell, who works in the field of mental health and knows what kind of focus is needed to move decisions through multiple levels of government. We, as parents and members of this community, have an opportunity under the current provincial government to repair the gutting of the schools that had happened in the long, hard decade by electing a school board that is informed, passionate, and dedicated to building an amazing education for every child in our community. And I am one such person, and so are all the people running alongside me. So please help me provide our city's youth with support and opportunities that they need to shine. I want to nurture the learners in our community. Let's lay the groundwork for future success stories from our district. Please vote for me to bring our voices to the table. I'm very grateful to be given the opportunity to come here and talk to you all today, and I look forward to talking to some of you face to face. Once again, my name is Anita ANSARI. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm running with Team Cote, and I'm very grateful for all the support you've given me so far.
Thank you, Anita. Now I think going way down the table here, that's why I have my runners on. Dee BEATTIE. Whoa. Just knock the table over. There you go.
So thank you, Anita, for a really passionate opening for all of us. It's really hard to follow you too, because you're great. Also want to thank all the Queensborough residents for having us and the Residents Association for having us here tonight. So my name is Dee BEATTIE, and I'm here to tell you that I support every child every day. I've worked in the classroom for 25 years supporting children as an education assistant, and I've seen on the front line exactly how services are delivered in the classroom. My passion is the frontline services. I worked as a literacy support worker, helping children with learning disabilities. And I can say there's so much more that we can do to help these children with this invisible disability. Teachers need the extra help and support, and we can do this by hiring specialty teachers and providing extra resources. This week is Dyslexia Awareness Week, and I wanted to draw your attention to the fact that we often miss the windows of opportunity to teach these children how to read. If you can go to my website, I have 2 blog posts specifically talking about dyslexia and how we can better support these students. The Teen Pote platform has that piece of getting the students the extra support and services they need. Children need early assessments and specialized staff and support to support the student success. New Westminster has become a very diverse city and has many unique needs. We have families in the U.S. living in poverty. We have non-English speaking families. We have refugee families. We have children with social emotional issues. And we have families struggling, working class families struggling. All have a tough time living in the U.S. We now have a government in Victoria that understands the services and are ready to invest in childcare, education, and healthcare. As part of Teen Pote, we have come together with our different backgrounds and strengths to bring forward a platform that is cohesive, that meets the needs of New West children. We are committed to work together and look at each community as a whole and try and develop services that address that community. I've tried to understand in the last couple of weeks of what's going on here in Queensborough. Talked to some parents here. I understand that traffic around the school is an issue. The fact that you have kids in portables is another issue. And the portables, all I can say about that is that's 12 years of the Christy Clark crew that did that by underfunding school districts. And now we have a chance to try and change that and correct that. And I believe that we need to work towards remedying the state of our schools quickly. Mark Gifford is the current board chair, and he is going to talk about the new expansion of the high school, or the Queensborough Elementary School, and that's where our commitment is to make sure we have great services or facilities for our children. So a little bit about me. I'm currently the acting president of the McBride-Safford Residents Association. I'm also a board member with the Royal City Musical Theatre, and I serve on the city's Committee on Social Issues Committee. I help out with the Royal City Go-Go's, raising money for the Stephen Lewis Foundation here in Westminster. The Go-Go group in Westminster has raised to date $365,000 that we send to African grandmothers to support children in Africa. I grew up in Saffordin. I went to McBride Elementary, and I went to New West Secondary. I'm a parent of 2 grown sons. I have 2 grandchildren that will be future New West students. And I'm also a foster parent. At one time I had 6 children from one family, and I'm currently supporting one of those children. I'm really proud to have come together with Teen Pote. We've worked hard together to come together with a platform that melds it together and that meets the needs of all of Westminster children on what matters most. And my name is Dee Beattie, and please visit my website, dbeattie.ca, for additional information. Thank you.
Thank you, Dee. Now you can tell I need to go back to school because I put a B beside a C.
You saw it.
Did you like? Okay. Anyways, now I'm going to make this one. Danielle, is that right? Danielle CONNELLY.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm not going to take up too much time talking about me because I really want to talk about you. So I've worked for a large international nonprofit organization, UNICEF, in the Communications and Education for Development departments. I've worked at ICBC developing programs to help kids and youth and young drivers be road safe. I'm a mom. I have 2 sons, 12 and 14, who go to school here in the West. I've served on multiple PACs, and I'm committed to a lot of time to sports, environmental issues, and the arts community. I serve on the U.S. Minor Hockey Association board, and I coach lacrosse. Never played, but when it comes to coaching the intake, it's more like herding cats, and the need was there, so I stepped up. My kids have grown up appreciating so much of what New West has to offer, and getting to know this community. We've biked here, we've played here, we've shopped here, and we've made friends here. And through this election and campaigning, we have come to know so many more wonderful people, and it's you and your kids that I want to talk about. And I want to
say that I am listening. I'm listening when you express concerns about your kids attending classes in portables, or in classrooms that were meant for sewing classes, not for teaching math or science. I'm listening when you say you're upset about your young kids having to use outdoor washrooms. I'm listening when you say you're upset with how consultations with families have gone. I'm listening when you say you have issues about the traffic around your schools. I'm listening when you say you don't feel you've been heard, you don't feel you've been communicated to, or you or your students' needs are being met. I'm listening when you express concern over limited play spaces and amenities. I'm listening when you express concerns over how your kids get to the high school. I'm listening when you ask how to access supports for your children. And I'm listening to your teachers. I have a lot of friends who are teachers in this community, and they are expressing concerns about the teaching conditions in portables with no covers over the doorways and the kids having to interrupt class time to go to the washroom, inequitable access to technology. And I'm listening to PACs who are feeling the burden of underfunded classrooms. We are listening, and we're seeing a real need for improved communications. Each community in Westminster has different and unique needs, and all of them must be heard, and all of them must be addressed equally. We plan to improve how we engage with each community and our parents and teachers in the district. Our schools are the cornerstone of our communities, and it's important that we do whatever possible to strengthen them. Some of the items in our platform going forward, and when I say our, I'm referring to us progressives, include engaging better with parents and caregivers, students and teachers to improve ways to communicate on things like our schools, registration programs, how to access supports for all needs. And we feel there's a need to create a district-wide communication plan. We need to discover and find out what is going to work best for everybody. We want to support youth with participation in board governance. We want to engage better with community stakeholders, the arts, sports, seniors, and child care providers to create inclusive community school facilities and programming that can be shared. Our neighborhoods and our communities are representative of all walks of life, religions, ideologies, political connections, and agendas, and our school board needs to be represented by that kind of diversity. So in closing, I just want to say that when I organized the rally to rebuild New Westminster Secondary, it was for our community and it was for our students. When I expressed concerns about no daytime custodians at our schools and was interviewed by the paper about it, it was for our students. When I was questioned about the short and long-term plans for portables in our district and interviewed by the paper about it, it was for our students. I'm not on the school board, and yet I've been a very strong advocate for our community, for our kids, and for our schools. So imagine what I could do with a voice on the school board. I have been listening, I have been advocating, and I promise to continue with a much louder voice if elected. Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle. And you can see now I've got the next speaker right beside me. I didn't do very well. Well, alphabetically. I don't know why. You're right.
Just follow the screen, Lori.
You're right. Well, you know, my list and this list are different. I told you grade 4 was the hardest 8 years of my life. So, anyways, candidate Gurveen.
So I'm Gurveen DHALIWAL. I'm running with Team Cote, and I care a lot about schools. They play a really important role in our community, and a lot of the gaps that I experienced while growing up are the ones that I continue to see today, which for me is a large reason why mental health and ensuring that we're providing increased support services for our students and families is my biggest priority. Now a little bit about me. So I went to UBC. I have a major in sociology and a minor in gender, race, sexuality, and social justice. I currently work for the provincial government, for the Minister of State for Child Care, where I help constituents on a daily need on any provincial issues from Burnaby and Victoria. And previous to this, a lot of my experience has been with the federal government. I worked on refugee files for citizenship and immigration and communications and correspondence with Transport Canada. And one thing that I found was it was really important to me that our working environment supported our staff, and I was proud to develop health and wellness programs in both departments, and a young professionals network which continues to thrive and provide today. But that's enough about me. So I'm here to talk about what matters most to you guys. So Queensborough, well, this little community, it's been my home my entire life. And up until recently, I've had the opportunity to chair the Queensborough Special Programs Committee. So I went to preschool in this community center. I watched the fields filled with cows turn into Walmarts. I picked the blueberries that were once, which is now QMS. Played hide and seek at the tree forest, which is now hundreds of townhomes. And I would roll down the sand dunes in Port Royal, which is where I live now. So we've seen a massive change in this community, but the most increasing and most stark thing that has happened is the same classroom that I sat in, it still exists today, and that's an issue. And unfortunately, the policy previous to this was that the government didn't provide capital funding for predicted capacity. But that has changed, and I know our board has requested $18 million in funding for up to 12 extra classrooms, which is definitely what Queensborough needs. And another thing about that is all the portables that are coming, or that are there. What we saw was development happening and portables coming in at the same alarming rate. What I'm not okay with the portables is that they do come out of operational costs. I really strongly believe they need to come out of capital costs. We shouldn't be taking money out of the classroom to fund the classroom itself. But beyond that, what I've heard from door knocking, I've heard from a number of residents issues of before and after school care, about transportation to and from the high school. And when it comes to before and after school care, I know Mark Gifford is probably going to talk a little bit about this, but that's coming. I know that that's a really huge issue in many parts throughout our entire communities. And in Queensborough especially, where it's surrounded by traffic. We need before and after school childcare facilities that don't have 5-year wait lists in our community. And then transportation to and from the high school. So I do not support a private bus service, but what I do support is advocating for partnerships with existing public infrastructure, so TransLink. Growing up as a Queensborough student, I was fortunate enough for those 5 years going to and from the high school to have had a school special and to have had subsidized bus passes of 50%. That was accessible, and it was reliable, and it was affordable. Those are the things that we need in our community, and we need to be nurturing independence and flexibility for both students and families. And that's something that I would really strongly advocate for, because it's something that I loved. But other than that, we need to talk about instructional programming as well in our schools. I think it's really important that we recognize that the needs of Queensborough are very different than Queen's Park, and we need to ask our community, how can we better serve you? What do you need? Do you need language translations? Do you need different types of community consultations? What is missing? How can we do better? And it's just all about listening, so thank you.
Thank you, Gurveen. Trying to get back on the alphabet. Alejandro Diaz.
Good evening, my name is Alejandro DIAZ. I want to let you know a little bit about myself. After many years working in the finance industry, I was working for hotels like Fairmont, Delta. I decided to open a local restaurant in New West in November of 2015. This was after my family moved to New West in 2010. Opening El Santo has allowed me to continue my dream of being a business owner, but that wasn't enough. I have been director for Tourism New West for the past couple of years. as I was raised to understand the importance of community involvement. After hearing a bit about my family, you will understand why running for school board makes sense to me. I have 3 boys, Harrison is 9, Parker is 8, and David is 4. Both my parents are educators. I grew up immersed in the importance of getting a good education. 4 years ago, our middle son Parker was diagnosed with autism. My family have seen firsthand the struggles that principals, teachers, and assistants deal with daily, both which involve lack of funding, training, and staffing. I want to bring a voice to their needs and to inclusiveness into schools so children like my son Parker have every opportunity to be successful in life. Inclusiveness goes beyond individual students. We must also be inclusive of our communities in the West. Queensborough students deserve the same opportunities as all other students in the West. Over the weekend, my older son Harrison and I met a number of residents and heard a number of community issues. Here are the foremost treatment. Queensborough is quickly outgrowing its facilities. Population is projected to double by 2041. Between 2016 and 2020, Port Royal added 1,200 homes. Queensborough has a growing younger student population than the rest of the city, so these issues will be around for the long term. We need more learning spaces now and in the future. Student safety walking to school. The community requires crossing guards to assist on busy streets. I came over this morning to see firsthand as I could not imagine my boys walking to school without a crossing guard. Student safety is paramount. Transportation for students to get to secondary school is not adequate. Without adequate transportation, students cannot take advantage of all opportunities that school has to offer. Another major issue that was expressed to me is the addition of a modular housing complex next to the school. This might be a perfect example of an important issue that has many conflicting interests. I want to be part of a community that supports our disadvantaged people, but as a school trustee, I represent the students and the students. Whatever the decision that is made by the provincial and city governments, we must ensure that students' interests are addressed. I'm not a politician. A politician will try to figure out what you want to hear and then tell you what you want without knowing how to implement the plan. There will be difficult decisions that a trustee has to make. Many times there will be no-win situations. For example, when there is overcrowding and lack of ideal learning, no one is happy about the amount of time needed to acquire adequate space, and no one wants their child to have to move to a different location. I will take a two-pronged approach to these situations. First, we have to make decisions in the here and now. What will guide me is assessing the best way to accommodate most needs of all students. To do that, I will listen to all parties involved, so when we make a decision, it's an informed one. Often that means that there is not a perfect solution, and some people will not be happy. That is not the goal, but that's the reality. But that's not enough. The second prong to work is to work with the staff to develop a long-term solution. This is the most important work that a trustee does. It's our job to develop the long-term vision for the district. We need to lobby to the provincial government to get the resources we need to make that vision a reality. As your trustee, I pledge to be accessible, attentive, transparent, and hardworking. I ask for your support on election day. Thank you.
Thank you, Alejandro. And now I don't have to go that far. I'm learning quickly. Lisa FALBO.
Hi, and thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for having me here again. I came here in the summer and had coffee with some of the residents, at which time you had invited me back to your home to enjoy your block party. I want to say thank you very much. Some of you have come out tonight, again, into your homes for coffee to express some of the items that were bothering you about your children attending school in Queensborough, for mental health, child care, traffic, and even simple amenities that aren't available here in Queensborough. You have to take your families across the bridge yet again. As trustees, Cyrus, JP, Danielle, we want to work with the province and City Council to bring world-class education to children, as well as work with them in such matters as mental health, child care, traffic, and amenities.
I'll be guided by my values of supporting all students according to need, valuing the work of all school staff, and the nurturing of healthy communities. The newest progressives want to champion public education. Our focus is the promotion of student achievement and well-being, and ensuring that all students are able to reach their fullest potential. We're looking forward to participating in important decisions with you that are impacting all learning in the school district, such as approval of budgets, school plans, transportation, and educational programs. We'll make sure every child has the support they need to reach their potential by investing in special needs and other diverse learning needs. We want to expand and encourage creation of new innovative programs for the diverse learners that support the universal design for learning the new curriculum, as well as work with teachers, arts, and Indigenous community. One of the items that we talked about tonight were clean schools, clean, safe schools, as well as educational assistants. Well, back in 2016, there were 6 custodians that were let go. Since then, many students have complained about the facilities at their schools. I was a custodian with the Vancouver School District while I went to college, and my husband is also a custodian currently at the Burnaby School District, and we both know the value of clean schools. We need to review and plan the return of daytime custodians and work as a team to develop even more environmentally friendly school systems, which includes the repurpose of unused school infrastructure. Educational assistance, we all know is important. You're going to hear that from everybody. It is essential that we offer and fund early identification, designation, and personalized programming for all learners. We need to make sure we have full EA and teacher staff complements. The newest progressive team offers genuine vision for the future of the school board, where the best interests for students and educators come first. We know what needs to be done, and we need your input and your solutions as well. JP, Cyrus, and Danielle and I want you to come on this journey with us in making the best school district for everyone. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, Lisa. Now down to the other end where I thought we'd be earlier, and Mark Gifford.
Thank you, and good evening. I'd like to start by acknowledging the Petite Musqueam and Coast Salish peoples on whose unceded territories we're gathered. Also thanks to the QRA for organizing and hosting tonight's event. My name is Mark Gifford. I'm seeking re-election as a school trustee with Team Cote. I was first elected in 2014 and currently serve as chair of the Board of Education. I'm a proud father of a grade 4 student at Lord Kelvin, husband to Tanya, my better half. We live in the Moody Park area and love New West for its strong sense of community, diversity, and what it shows up for kids and families. I grew up in many communities and many schools, but landed in New West as a grade 5 student at Connaught Heights. And the welcome and support my family received made a lasting impression on my life. For 25 years, I've spent most of my professional, academic, and volunteer energy focused on improving systems that impact the ability for children, youth, and families to thrive. This experience included leading after-school initiatives at Edmonds Elementary, as faculty at Temple University, as director of Philadelphia's Fund for Children, at Vancouver Foundation as their director of grants and community initiatives, and in my current role as executive director at Kawasa Neighborhood House, the largest community social service hub in Northeast Vancouver. It's also about sitting on boards, coaching soccer, and hosting neighborhood events with friends. The importance of strong schools working in partnership with community has been central in all of this work. It's why I ran 4 years ago, and it's why I'm running again. I'm proud of the work the board has accomplished over the past 4 years. Yes, there remains lots of work to do, but we have worked together to build a solid foundation. We've eradicated the nasty deficit, restored financial health, gained traction on moving long overdue capital projects forward, including NWSS. We've hired a dynamic senior leadership team and attracted a full complement of teachers and staff to our district. We've led the way for the province on developing and implementing inclusive policy on SOGI, sanctuary schools, and a school nutrition program. We've put millions back into classroom sports, technology, and supplies. There's a lot to feel good about, but much work in the balance, and we can't lose momentum. Here in Queensborough, a massive expansion for Queen Elizabeth classroom and community space is our #1 priority, and negotiations with the province have been going very well. We're prioritizing expansion of childcare and after school age care in Queensborough. We have a motion coming forward tomorrow that helps continue to move this work forward. The high school project is on track and on size, scheduled to open September 2020. There's new alignment with the province and city on TransLink, and Team Cote will be pushing for improvements to quality and frequency of transit service for Queensborough students and workers. I'm also advocating for an arts and culture strategy that, among other things, ensures music and band programs are available to all middle and high school students. I'm proud to be part of Team Cote and support the candidacy of 4 amazing women. Our board needs more women and people of color who bring valuable experience and skills and help our community better see itself reflected on board leadership. We have a team whose members each have spent most of their professional and personal lives advocating to create space and services for kids and families. A team that brings candidates from across the city, not just one middle school catchment. A team that has a passion for great schools with community. Anita ANSARI, not only an engineer and mom, but co-founder of the West's largest online community for peer-to-peer support. Dee BEATTIE, foster parent, and 25 years working as an educational assistant and special needs advocate. Maya Russell, parent, Uber volunteer, and 25 years of working to influence positive change with every level of government. Last but not least, Gurveen DHALIWAL, an emerging community leader, smart and passionate about schools in the West, and by, for, and of Queensborough. The only candidate from Queensborough. She should be marked on every one of your ballots. I'm inspired to run because of the difference great schools can make in the lives of students and families. I see it every day. But I'm also inspired by these 4 women who, with your support, will listen, act, and get results on what matters most to make this city proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Now, would the real Lisa Graham stand up? Lisa Graham.
Thank you very much. My name is Lisa Graham. I used to open my candidacy by saying strengthening district partnership, improving governance structures, and giving back to the community that educated myself, my husband, and my children was my pivotal reason for my candidacy. This time is a little bit different. I actually didn't run last election. My husband was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and so I stayed home. I'm running this time, and it was a last-minute decision. I had so many calls from families, but more calls from school district staff who said, you know what, it's quite an election. Most of the seats are vacant. And the 2 incumbents that are running, and make no mistake of it, Mary LALJI's a rock star. I've been to meetings of election. They are first-term trustees. And it's quite a learning curve. It's not like I school in first term. No corporate history there, so it's a would you come back and assist? I feel that obligation. I love this school district. I guess I could say I've worked hard to address Sunshine School and community issues this year. My advocacy on fact is, the overcrowding problem is directly linked to the ambitious densification of our city. Right now, New Westminster is at a population of about 70,000, but by 2021 it's expected to be at 84,000. It's a big part of why I will be pushing for more frequently scheduled meetings between the mayor and council and board of trustees, so that our decision-making processes are current and updated and more coordinated. We need to regularly discuss the issues that impact both city and school board operations. Traffic. For the safety of our students and all pedestrians, cyclists, and yes, even motorists, I would like to partner with the city to solicit a professional assessment of every U.S. school during peak traffic hours at drop-off and pickup time. The generated data from the traffic study will go a long way to inform solutions to existing safety issues and improve traffic flow all around all of our schools. If we do that, it will benefit all of the system. And now we come to inclusion, the issue of inclusion. The New Westminster, I want to tell you a bit about our school. It's good. It's really bad, but there's a lot of good too. The New Westminster School District supports inclusion in a context that extends beyond special needs students. Though not enshrined in policy, SB4 staff have always practiced a tremendous open door, open mind, open heart approach to assist the students struggling with a variety of social, emotional, and personal issues. With available resources, our staff does an outstanding job of addressing the non-school needs of many of our students. Whether appropriate coats and footwear, counseling, breakfast in the morning, hot lunch programs, I have a lot to say. It's on my, I'll post this on my Facebook. Please find me.
Thank you, Lisa.
We've had a request from the live stream that candidates could hold the mic closer to their mouths so they can hear clearly.
I wish we could unplug the fridge over there that we're having to compete with. We'll let Mary get everything set up here. No. Well, you guys figure it out. Mary LALJI.
Thanks everyone for having me. I just want to tell you a quick story. My name is Mary LALJI. I am a school board trustee for the last 2 years. So I was asked when I first started to come into the school, actually here at Queen Elizabeth, to talk about trustees. And I was like, oh boy, just started this position. They're grade 2. How do you make this fun? So I started with this. We looked at this chart. Trustees, superintendent, secretary, treasurer, associate superintendent, principal, VPs, teachers, parents, and students. Try teaching this to grade 2s. So I said to them, who's the most important person? And of course, they leaned in and they're like, me. I'm like, you're right. I don't agree with this. Trustees should not be at the top. So I took it, crumpled it up, hold on. And we rewrote it. We rewrote it together. This is what it came up with. So this is what the students came up with. Sorry guys, trustees are at the bottom. Microphone. Sorry. Trustees are at the bottom, right here. And we serve the students who are at the top, right here. Parents, teachers, BP, and it goes down the line. That right there is my philosophy. Little did I know, I've been practicing for the last 2 years. So, let's start. I'm here tonight speaking as a parent of the district, a volunteer for the last 16 years within our school district, and a voice for all of our students, parents, teachers at the board table. For the last 2 years, I've had the honor and privilege of being a trustee. Now, having the experience navigating through our system, I understand the complex process of getting things passed, much better than when I was first elected. I have gained a reputation at the board table for challenging status quo. I will fight for what the students, parents, and teachers want, even if it might be an unpopular idea for some of our stakeholders and other trustees. I take solution-based approach and believe in actions and results. I want to keep fighting for what is right. The issues that I've been a voice for, well, let's start from the top. School bus. This has always been a topic for me since I started. Less traffic, less stress on parents, more room on our transportation or on our transit buses for commuters. My first motion was to take a look at a school bus and the need for it for our kids. This was buried in red tape. Overcrowding, which takes away green play space because of the portables that are needed. Lack of washrooms in these portables, especially for primary grades, leading to safety and issues for our children. I've been a voice for washrooms in all portables. The Band-Aid solution of a wash cart, in my opinion, is not good enough. Modular housing, I'm surprised no one has talked about this. I agree with affordable housing for everyone. It's the lack of the process that took place last spring and summer that I'm very concerned with. Taking away green parks to build when other sites are available is an issue. Not having a strong support system in place, such as doctors, walk-in clinics, counseling service for residents of social housing, so they can not just survive, but excel in life. I brought this to the board's attention in our open meetings regarding this project and what this will look like for schools in Queensborough, but my concerns were pushed to the side. Transit, another big hot topic. You and I need to chat. A system that is not adequate to meet the needs of our residents in Queensborough and NWSS students. About a year ago, before I started on the board, one of our board members, Anita Campbell, with another Queensborough resident, they actually lobbied the TransLink. TransLink put it back and said, no, this isn't our issue. This is a district issue. I took a bus. I came down here, I took a bus. They were full, they passed us. We waited. I was actually late for school. Not sufficient. I want to talk about issues, I want to find solutions. No more red tape. I was given this stat by another candidate. 40% of the New West population are visible minority. My husband and my 2 children are part of that 40%. For me, I have been a voice for everyone at our board table, no matter who you are. I've had the honor and the privilege of being a trustee. Issues to my Queensborough parents, students, and residents. I'm passionate and look forward to another term. October 20th is my report card. Tell me how I did.
Thank you, Mary. I haven't got to meet this young man yet. So JP, and I probably, is it LEBERG?
LEBERG. There you go.
Thank you very much, Lori. My goodness, that was a great presentation. I love the energy. I'm more subdued, I'm older, I have more gray hair. JP LEBERG, first time runner, never been involved in politics before. I've been blessed to have been invited by a great group of friends now and teammates with the New West Progressives, Danielle and Lisa, and Cyrus for the School Trustee side. And I'm impressed by the caliber of all the candidates at this table. We really have great choice this coming up election. So what can I bring, if not experience? Well, hard work. I've got a sales and engineering background. I've worked with the construction industry in the development of a Red Seal trades training program for masonry. And that was quite an eye-opening experience to figure out how to get a nationwide program together that would be accepted by all the jurisdictions involved. It was a lot of fun. We got her done, and hoping to take some of that board experience and hands-on experience to New Westminster and see if we can get things happening here. We certainly identified a number of issues. I've heard from my canvassing a lot of those same issues as well. My sales background lets me hear what you want and be able to translate that into a solution that we hope you would buy as a voter. That's what I'm counting on, to find that solution using the help that we can bring to the system. And indeed, I have to learn what that system is, but I'm certainly going to work hard to make a difference going forward. We've got a great system. Could we make it better with your help, with our participation? Definitely can. I don't have much more to say at this point. I'm open to hearing what you have to say. I'm glad to see some kids involved in the process. I got 3 of them in Westminster, and I guess being involved with them up until now with coaching and with French and getting more questions than answers lately with the way things are going with the high school that the kids will be going into. I'm hoping to help bring some of those answers to you in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you, JP. Cathy MCCALLUM is not here, so we will now move to Scott McIntosh.
Thank you everybody for coming tonight. My name is Scott McIntosh. I was born and raised in Sapperton and still live in Sapperton. I have a son in grade 2 at McBride School and a son that's just turned 1 year old at daycare right by Sapperton Park. I'm running because I started seeing how much building is going on, suites, high rises, and don't really see schools being built. Right now McBride is going into only grade 5. When I went there, I went all the way to grade 7 and there was many empty classrooms. Now we got many portables and less area for the kids to play. Being that I only live 4 doors from the school, I see how bad the traffic is to the point where I come home, can't even get on my street, get out of my driveways, cars parked all over the crosswalks because I'm being told and I've seen that parents must pick up the kids and drop them off and see the teacher. So drop-off zones don't really work anymore, so we need to design areas where parents can safely stop and actually take their children, especially in elementary school, to the teachers and then again pick them up. As a City of Vancouver employee, I'm a concrete foreman, one of 6 concrete construction building a lot of the bike lanes that may be torn out after this election. I'm starting to really learn how to deal with the public, but sadly, we had a hiring freeze for many years. Now we're trying to hire. People are coming in their late 20s with their parents to their interviews. They don't have the basic skills, and it's kind of concerning me. Like, I know myself when I went to high school, I was told to go to university, I really liked working with my hands. Did auto body, then I became a railway conductor, and then ended up wanting to get a full-time job instead of being laid off quite often. So went and got my red steel carpentry and was able to build on that and always have a job. And now able to be a foreman and mentor many other individuals. Like I say, my name is Scott McIntosh. Thank you for your time. I feel I'll be very approachable if voted in. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Maya Russell.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Queensborough Residents Association, and thank you to the audience for being here. And I would like to particularly thank Lucy for coming tonight. My name is Maya Russell, and I am running with we are a team of 5 people running as Team Coaching. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I am a mom from Sapperton. I have 3 girls. My husband and I have been in Westminster for over 10 years. I have, like many of you, been involved in our community through San Relays Lacrosse, Royal City Soccer, the PACs, and our district PAC, which I served on for a number of years. So I have put in a lot of the community time that we have all put in. I have also had the opportunity throughout my working career to work for governments at all levels of government and with elected people at all levels and community organizations. So I know a fair bit about what citizens can and should expect from their elected bodies. I also know how hard it is, how incredibly hard it is to make change. I have sat at cabinet tables and heard the roadblocks and excuses that can be put up. I've heard how people will blame other stakeholders and parties. There are a million reasons not to make improvements in systems as large as this one. It takes a lot of dedication and it takes experience and partnerships to get
to get results. As a parent, our experience in U.S. schools, I would say we have experienced the finest of public education, and we have also experienced some of the failures. And those are not specific to New Westminster. Those are issues I think we're struggling with across Canada. I've seen my own child struggle in class due to some severe special needs, just not getting the care that she needs to thrive and to do well. I have seen many children wait for years for learning assessments that we should be able to access in the public system, where my family, we can afford to go out privately and pay for a psychoeducational assessment so that my child can get the label that will come with the funding and the support that will partly meet her needs. But there are hundreds of families who do not have thousands of dollars to do that, to get ahead of that waiting list. And it's not acceptable. Every child should have has the right to access an education. And there's a lot we can do to make sure that we're putting that in place. So I love New Westminster schools, but I think we can make them better. New Westminster has come a really long way in the last few years. 4 years ago, when I was involved in the DPAC and I got involved with Families for Public Education, our district had experienced a surprise budget deficit. In fact, 2 of them in a row, multi-million-dollar budget deficits that the administration was surprised to discover. That's not the case anymore. The current board has done an excellent job of getting our finances in order. The high school replacement project was stalled and had been stuck for decades. The current board dug in and they got that funding secured, and I am so proud of them for getting that done. The school that my children attended was left languishing on a list, high-risk seismic list, one of very few schools left across British Columbia that is at high risk due to an earthquake. And this board was able to get that funding, land that funding, so that children at Richard McBride and Tweedsmuir will be safe. After 16 years of underfunding, there are a lot of staff positions that were cut. Again, they've reached a balanced budget, and I'm very happy that we're now in a position where we can look at reinstating some of those positions that have been lost that are desperately needed in classrooms. And this district has led, it's really, really amazing what they have done. They have led in inclusion. So one of the first districts to implement the SOGI 123 policy to include students of different sexual orientations and gender identity, which is a super important, for me, human rights and safety issue, actually, for children. They are the first district to implement a sanctuary schools policy, which ensures that all children can access a public education. There's lots to do, and there's a lot at stake. I hope you'll consider supporting all of Team Cote. I would submit that we are a strong team with deep experience. We're not interested in petty politics, and we're not interested in grandstanding. What we are very interested in is getting results on what matters most to all of us, and that is our kids.
Thank you, Maya. Down to the... I know, I've lost them. I know. For some reason, I thought I'd run down to the other end. Cyrus SY.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. Thank you to the QRA for holding today's important event. My name is Cyrus SY, and I'm running for School Board Trustee in this year's election. I'm a proud team member of the U.S. Progressives with Danielle, Lisa, and JP. I've lived in New Westminster for almost 11 years. I'm a husband, a dad, to 2 kids who go to school at Herbert Spencer and Glenbrook. I've worked in BC tech companies for over 20 years as a professional engineer and marketing professional. My parents immigrated to Canada over 42 years ago to start their family, to give their children more opportunities than they would back at home in the Philippines. They knew the schools in Canada and the public education system were top-notch, and I'm a product of that public education school system. I'm running for school trustee because I am a strong believer in public education and the role schools play in creating an inclusive, vibrant community like New West. So why am I running? Again, like my parents, I want to help provide the best possible future for my kids and the generations that follow. And it's a pretty challenging future if you think about it. We know that there's climate change, globalization, and many traditional jobs are going away or shifting overseas, and the impact of the aging population. Many industries are getting disrupted. I got a message yesterday from a a resident who reached out to me on my website, who pointed out that BC is going to need to fill over 900,000 skilled jobs in the trades and services in the next 10 years. The bottom line is that kids are going to graduate and enter an economy that is vastly different from the world that we know today. The rapid pace of change has major implications on how we work, connect, and relate to one another, which requires a different approach to learning. We need to expand opportunities and programs for kids to help them find their passion in learning, especially in the areas of science, math, arts, and trades, to better prepare our students. I think New West can become a model for what 21st schooling should look like. And number one, it starts by creating an environment where every child feels safe, secure, accepted, and healthy. And number two, being in tech. I would like to bring my unique experience to help New West schools become leaders in technology and innovation by building resources to help all students become more engaged in learning, to think critically, better explore their creativity, and bring out the best in each and every child. The bottom line is we need to focus on learning for our students. So what are some of these ideas that we have at the US Progressive? Let's invest in training and support for our teachers to support use of technology in our classrooms. Tech is only the means to an end. Technology can be used in all aspects of learning, from science, math, language, and the arts. Let's pursue partnerships with post-secondary community partners in industry, including the arts and skilled trades. Let's rethink how we use our school spaces to teach our kids, and look at how we can combine online learning and the use of school facilities and even city facilities to deliver on learning for schools. Let's use technology to improve communication between district parents and students. So how are we going to get this done? Well, it starts by having a strong board willing to listen to parents, residents, and teachers to define a strong vision. I have worked on the board of directors for 2 nonprofits, one dedicated to parents and kinship caregivers, and I was also board chair for 6 years, and I was a co-chair for a local nonprofit daycare society. And what made our board successful was the diversity in experience, background, and skills, and commitment to those that it serves. Each of us on those boards brought our own experience that helped make the best decisions possible. And hopefully you'll see that with our US Progressives team that is the kind of approach and style that I'm committed to bringing if I'm elected in the US Progressives to the school board. So in closing, Election Day is an opportunity for you to express what matters most to you. What do you value most? If you value strong local representation who are committed to the interests of all students and community first, regardless of who is in provincial government, then vote for New West Progressives. And if you would like to see that New West become a model for schools in the 21st century, vote for New West Progressives. My name is Cyrus SY, and I'm running for School Board Trustee. And Election Day, I hope you can count on your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Cyrus. And I learned it's C. I didn't know that, so thank you. And now Steve TSONEV. Thank you very much.
You didn't get your alphabet order, right? Thank you everyone for hosting us tonight. I think we've heard a lot of the same things throughout the night, so I will keep it very brief and short. Because I'm sure all of us want to meet you one-on-one and answer your questions and not just the same things. My name is Steve TSONEV, and I think I'm the youngest candidate here tonight. I don't have many fancy credentials, but I have a lot of common sense. My family immigrated to New Westminster from Greece about 12 years ago, and Since then, I've had the opportunity to own 3 small businesses. I participated in a few not-for-profit organizations, and I volunteer with the Vancouver Community Policing Center, and I'm currently in the process of applying to the new Westminster Victim Assistance Unit. I think what we all want to do is help the children have a better opportunity to advance themselves, and that cannot be done in Portugal. It just can't. So we really have to find solutions. It would be very important to have a diverse board, not just any random people. We all here are great. We just have to select somebody who represents you the most. And it would be great for people to see themselves reflected on the board. I also encourage you to go to the board meetings and participate in the decision making. It would be great if we have more people involved and not just select 7 trustees and expect them to do everything. Try to come and bring your problems and maybe even solutions, because that way we are able to directly do what you're looking for. And yes, that's all. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to see you all.
Thank you, Steve. Just want to thank all the candidates. We'll just wrap up here quickly. I've got to use my cheat sheet. So, wanted to thank all the candidates for coming out tonight and sharing your perspective. I want to thank our community and audience here tonight. I want to just do a quick thing. I did it at the last ACM, and it has to do with provincial politics. But how many people in here are interested in a forum here on proportional representation? Can you order a cup of coffee? It's that easy. Anyways, okay, I'm going to look into it. We're going to try and have something for a yes and no side of it to do an education evening. Also, just want to say that these little things here, postcards, are for the Queensborough Residents Association. And if you want to be part of the community, part of the membership, $5. Best $5 you'll ever spend for a whole 365 days. And next Tuesday, October 9th, we are having Chief David Jones and Constable Wendy Boyer here to do a little bit of an intro around community policing, which is one of the issues down here at Queensborough. Let's see, what else? I got that and that. And anything else I'm supposed to do? You've been a great audience, then. So let's close it and mix and mingle. Rob.
Maybe thank our tech help that's supporting the broadcast. I noticed the gentleman there has been helping make calls.
This young man here?
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, that's thank Kane. He's our in-house audio-visual guy, which you're an audio-visual guy, aren't you? I knew there was something there. I know you guys flocked together. So, anyways, thank you all, and let's get to meet the candidates.